Tell me about like the regulations and the COVID and all the things you're being told you need to do, from distancing to masks, et cetera. I mean, do you find that it's hard to either understand exactly what to do or how to understand the science behind it? Is it because I find myself frustrating because I don't see science-based decision making. It feels like policy gets thrown out here, another one gets thrown out here. It seems to be like damage control or politics. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
What's it like from someone like you who has to follow those regulations?
Challenging as well. I mean, you know, because there's so much you have to think about and so many more decisions you have to make. So many more battles that you have to fight to get over that line, even just filling out doing risk assessments. And I hate to think what a large company or a large restaurant would have to do, but doing a risk assessment for COVID, which is necessary, I'm not denying that at all. But it's like, you have to really think and concentrate because it's really, really important.
Yeah.
And you have to really make sure you do the right thing because you're also talking about the health and safety of not just your staff, but also every employee. And the worst case scenario, having a bad reputation for your business, and then kills your business name. So yeah, you've really got to, I think there's a lot of, what I've seen is a lot of advice on the government website that I'm happy with. There really is a lot of advice through how to deal with these things and examples, even the furlough scheme and the eat out scheme. And I think they've rolled it out very quickly and very, very well.
Okay.
I can't complain at all about the support that's been providing. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
But it is still things that, you don't really want to have to think about it. You want to get on and run your business.
Right. What about I've heard from people I know in the city that say, I have to wear a mask when I walk to my table and then I can take the mask off and then I don't have to wear it into a pub, but kids don't wear it at school. It doesn't seem to be standardized science behind some of these regulations. Mm-hmm. Is that frustrating for you?
Yeah, it's frustrating for me from a very personal point of view is coming into a retail shop and having to wear a mask. So you'll see here at this shop, we manage that from at the doorway where we have the rope and we can greet people at the door. And then if they want to come inside, they can choose to. At my other store, we're allowing people to come in, just like any other sort of, a quick service store. People will come in and there's a lot of them who are not wearing the mask. It'd be wonderful if we didn't have to, it would just make it easier. But I understand the science behind it and thinking behind it. We need to take those steps to be safe as well.
Yeah, it's a fine line because I feel like we should invest a bit more in science and then get everyone to agree on the science and then push forward a policy. It just seems to be patched together a little bit right now.
The challenge. I mean, there's so many other countries that are doing it differently as well. There's stories today about Sweden and they've had no real cases. Being from Melbourne, you may know the lockdown there has been really quite severe. And they had 40 cases yesterday, but they're still in a really severe 40 cases. Like that's nothing. And they're still in a really severe lockdown. So the way the government, and they've been there for 8 weeks almost. So the way the governments are doing things, I have no sympathy for the government. They've chosen to do that job. But you could quite easily say they're not doing the best one.
Yeah, it's frustrating when the ramifications are businesses
huge
going out and a lot of capital. I mean, it's, it's 98% of the economic activity in London is small, medium-sized businesses. I mean, it's the lifeblood. And then these people don't have capital reserves, I mean, you probably, because you've been in the business for a long time, planned ahead and worked surgically, but you're smart. Like a lot of small business owners don't have that experience. They don't have the capital reserves and they're blown out forever. And that's because a government can't seem to get their head around what the right thing to do. And again, I think people forget about the economy. I mean, the economic devastation is severe.
It's huge. And that's the thing about living in your own bubble. You don't really see how big that scale is. When you want to start to travel around, or as you do, you see different parts of London. It really is a big scale. It's almost quite frightening.